The Looming World War III, Part 2, How to Save the World. Well, they have ransacked Africa for their rich natural resources, and Africans have suffered much bloodshed and colonization and have been controlled from afar after the end of colonial era. Today we are passing through a quite different and striking stage of that struggle. On the other hand, along with the dismal story, humanity also has a bright record of democracy and scientific progress. What's difficult to radically alter this struggle for resources through democratic values and human virtues? Will the struggle of dominance be pursued by plotting coups in weak and targeted countries, by instigating proxy wars via sectarianism and ethnic conflicts and terrorist groups, or is it possible to craft a more reasonable framework? It is definitely possible, agreeing on a common definition of terrorism, bringing peace to unstable countries and regions in accordance with a win-win formula, establishing a more equitable international system, and developing a new approach towards Middle East would allow us to address the root causes of the problems and eventually solve them. However, countries, and especially stronger ones, do not follow such a course unless forced to do so or gain advantages. Historical experience shows that crises accumulate to produce conditions for a greater war. The ideal of a European Union had been cherished for several centuries in the continent, but it became possible only after Europe lived through infamy for two world wars. Nowadays, the Qatar crisis evokes memories of assassination of Archduke Ferdinand, which triggered World War I, but that assassination was only the culmination of a series of events. Conditions for that war emerged one by one and led people to believe that war was the only solution. Since we know that a third world war would bring total annihilation, can we not have a common sense to stop the process in a cool manner? Have we become pawns in a game, the scenario and the end of which are already known? Do we not have anything left apart from watching the world destroy itself? Well, I would like to have a prelude of all the discussion that we have made so far, and we'll continue with the same in the upcoming videos as well. Let me have a prelude for you. The world is going through a turbulent period, and the roiling cauldron of Middle East politics has been stirred by launching a blockade against Qatar by 10 countries led by Saudi Arabia. Beside the long-standing Palestine issue, the unending Syrian civil war and the Daesh invasion in Iraq and the ongoing conflict in Yemen are also making the situation in the Middle East precarious. In addition, state of affairs elsewhere in the world is also getting intense. Although there has been no major combat between the great powers since the Second World War, there are three key fronts, and they are the Middle East, number one being the Middle East, number two being Russia, and number three being South China Sea. Emerging that make the prospect of third global conflict alarmingly conceivable. Now, getting back to the article, mutual effort is needed. We have entered a period in which the world cannot tolerate the democracy deficit, unfair income distribution, and burden of terrorist groups any longer. There is no positive future awaiting for the world unless we resolve the root cause of problems, with refugee problem and terrorist organization coming first. We'll tell you more about the same in our next video.